to our newsroom shows hundreds of people crowding an Arco near Central and Alondra. After smashing the door, dozens of looters flooded into the store, grabbing anything they could. LA Sheriff's deputies tell us there were thousands of dollars worth of merchandise stolen and 1,000 more in damages. This as deputies deal with numerous street takeovers throughout the city. Deputies say they couldn't intervene because of safety concerns as they were very outnumbered.
That doesn't sound good now, does it? Joining me now, my friend Dave Rubin of course, the great Rubin Report. Dave, this stuff seems to be happening a lot now in blue cities in America, where the cops will just kind of have to just park it outside and film while the animals take things over. Is this just what our cities have become now?
Jesse, can we have your cracked producers put gas station looting expert beneath my name? What in God's name are these children? And that's what they are. What are they doing attacking a gas station? I mean, at least in the old days, they would, loot a Target. You can get a big screen TV. You could get a basketball and a golf club and an outdoor chair. What are they? They're going for sugar-free Red Bull, and you saw the one kid who was grabbing all the condoms as if he's going to have any use for them. I mean, what in God's name is going on here just sort of culturally? There's the condom kid. He's going to be grabbing them. Watch this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this. I'm going to take all those condoms. I'm going to sell them on the black market. It's completely ridiculous. But look, the truth is, joking aside, I mean, this is just not going to stop in blue cities, period. Los Angeles decided to go from one bad DA to another. They decided to go from one progressive mayor to another. And nobody will stand up for law and order there. And as you know, we're going through this mass migration in the United States where the good law-abiding citizens are just saying, hey, enough's enough. And the other part of this, of course, is that, a lot of these gas stations, even though they have big names attached to them, whatever it is, Shell, et cetera, they're licensed and owned by usually immigrants or first-generation people in America, just the average guy who's not some rich gazillionaire. And at some point, they're not going to want to run these stores anymore. And then where are we going to be?
Well, one, I'm a little bit offended, and it's impossible to offend me, Dave, with your besmirchment of the gas station. The gas station is one of the great places in this country. If I'm on the way home tonight and I want a Hot Pocket, maybe some lottery tickets, maybe I want to go buy a pack of cigarettes with beer, a little donut on the side. I get all these things and antifreeze at a gas station. I will not stand gas station besmirchment on this show, Dave.
Wow, all right, Jesse, out of all of that, you forgot the 7-month-old hot dog. The one hot dog that's slowly going on the thing. How'd you forget that of all of them,
That's true. Oh,
There's always
man, it's
one.
true. All right, quit. There's always one. There's always one, and you're right. They never change it. It's just there forever. No. All right. Back to what you were saying. So this is my problem, Dave, and I don't fully understand this. Maybe you don't either, but why the endless cycle? Like you just mentioned, they keep bouncing out these nutball communists who are going to turn open the jails, but then they turn around and welcome in a new one the next day. If that was happening to my neighborhood, rich, poor, middle class, I would want a change of some kind, even if I'm not political, right? If I'm not a Republican, Democrat, whatever, I would say, well, whatever we did before, let's not do that again. And I would change my behavior, but it doesn't change. Why?
No, one of the disappointing things about the left over the last, say 7, 8, 9 years is that they have consistently doubled down on every bad policy. Show me one big government policy that works. Show me one tax increase that did anything to help the people it purported to help. They consistently go to their worst side. And then all the moderates, whatever moderate liberal existed, and there used to be moderate liberals, there were things known as blue dog liberals, blue dog Democrats. They don't exist anymore. The party has been completely taken over, and no one is radical enough. So they're always trying to out-radicalize each other. I mean, look, Jesse, what you're showing right there is from LA, but look what's gone on in Chicago the last couple of days. Chicago, which is basically the murder capital of the United States, which has the strictest gun laws in the United States. They get rid of Lori Lightfoot, who is a far left loon, and they bring in this guy who's even worse. And then next thing you know, literally a week later after he's put in, you in essence have massive rioting in the streets. Oh, there you go. I mean, look at this. That would never happen where I live in the free state of Florida. I assure you it would not, because we've got red mayors in basically every city except for Fort Lauderdale at this point. And we're a law and order state, and people just have to decide what part of the country they want to live in.
Dave, okay, there is a common thread, a fairly common thread with all these, to name we've mentioned 1,000 times, George Soros. I still just can't wrap my mind around how broken our nation must be that we would allow a foreign-born, I know he's an American citizen now, but we would allow a foreign-born rich guy to not only cause violence, chaos, rape, murder, just horrible things in our cities, but to publicly brag about it and announce his intention to continue doing so. What kind of a nation are we that we haven't done something about this? How is this guy not banished from our shores or rotting in prison somewhere?
I don't know, but he is morphing into Emperor Palpatine very quickly. Let those images you're showing right there. Look, first off, let me be clear about one thing. It is not anti-Semitic to say that George Soros is destroying the United States. He happens to be Jewish. He offers no support ever for Israel or anything that I would call a righteous Jewish cause, let's say. And also, you're allowed to attack a specific person. It doesn't mean you're going after their ethnicity. But let's just move aside on that for a second. The fact is, he has put a tremendous amount of money into Alvin Bragg in New York, into Chesa Boudin in San Francisco, into George Gascon in Los Angeles. And everything that he touches related to law and order basically turns into chaos. And I think the only, it might sound cynical, but I think the only estimation that you can come to, the only conclusion that you can come to with this guy is he wants more chaos so that his authoritarian type political leaders can take power. So we have not hit rock bottom in any of these places yet. I don't know what rock bottom looks like. San Francisco, for example, cannot get much worse, but it can get worse to some degree. And I don't know what that rock bottom is that then would cause the good people of San Francisco, whoever remains, to say, oh, we need a Rudy Giuliani from 1998 New York City. I just don't think that that's going to happen anymore. I think these places are in a free fall that I don't see any comeback from anytime soon because of the migration I mentioned before. What's happened because of COVID in the last couple of years has significantly altered everything. In years past, you could have a bad administration for one go round, and then people would be like, boy, that was pretty bad for these 4 years, let's fix it. But now people are just like, oh, that was so horrible because of COVID, I left Michigan, and I left Illinois, and I left New York, and I left Cali. And where did I go? I went into the red states. So the red states are getting redder, the blue states are getting bluer. So it's not like this would have been, say, 10 years ago when a cycle would have ran, people would have recognized bad Democrat policies and then voted them out. Now they don't have enough voters to do that.
Yeah, it is the dark part about it, and you're 100% right. It's why we're racing this way, because people are migrating. Human migration is a real thing. You migrated, you left California, you now live in the free state of Florida. What's better?
I mean, dude, there's just no comparison. But, obviously people ask me this all the time, and I won't give you the generic answer. I'll tell you one other thing, which is that it's not all the obvious reasons, the finances, the law and order, and blah, blah, blah. It's what that gives you at the end. And you know what it gives you, Jesse? It gives you a pride in your community. When I go out in my community here, not only is everyone friendly and happy, and you can feel the success of that, meaning that the businesses are doing well, the restaurants are packed, but when I go to the farmer's market every weekend with my kids, I say hello to the police, and it's like they're not at odds with me. They don't even have to be there because there's no freaking crime. But the point is, it creates a culture where people are really proud of the place that they live. And when you have that first, you can build up from that. Contrast that with the video that you just showed out of LA or out of Chicago. These people, they certainly shouldn't be proud of what's going on there, but there's nobody left to stop the disintegration. And yeah, your logo right there is right, man. I don't see any way that starts going back to purple.